I didn't even want to make this today, right? I did in the morning, then I went to a sober meeting. One thing I want to share is 2 weeks before I left Michigan, I was 18 still. It was the beginning of January. I was buying a lot of white stuff, white powder, bro. I was buying flour for if there's issues on YouTube. I was buying white flour in a good amount of it. And in my head, I was selling the flour, dude. The white flour, I was selling it. And I mean flour like you cook, you know, not like a flower, like a plant. But I was selling plants too. I was making a living selling plants, bro. A living, bro. At 17, I was 16, I was making a living, bro. I was making money at 16, 17. And that's not to brag, bro, but it's just like to explain the story, dude. I got raided when I was 17 on my 17th birthday so that they could try me as an adult. At that moment, I realized that they didn't have my best interest at heart, you know, at all. And I was dumb. It's something I gotta live with, you know, like the effect I had on it's not my house, it was my parents' house. And, you know, that was probably traumatic for everybody. Seeing me get, you know, in cuffs, walked out of the house and telling my mom, a cop telling my mom, there's 8 dudes with M4s in my house, the Kent County Narcotics Unit. Shout out to you guys, you never got anything. Sorry. I ain't gonna say too much on that, but like, back to the story. Somewhere in the middle of January, dude, I bought a bunch of that white flour, the white powder. I had maybe like 7 grams of it, maybe, I don't remember how much, but it was around there, like a good pile. And it was just me in my apartment, and it was snowing, and middle of the day, and I just started crying, dude. I don't really remember why. I hadn't even done it yet, I don't think. I was waiting, but I knew the drill, man. I knew like the process and like how it went down. You know, you take this stuff, it's fun, and then it's gone, and then you feel like death, and you feel like I want more, and I'm sad now, which sucks. Sucks to go through that. I just started crying, dude, and at that time I wasn't praying, bro. I wasn't really like praying. I always believed in like the idea of God, but not in a legalistic way. It was free in a lot of ways. So I just knew God, you know. And I prayed, dude. That day I prayed, and I was just bawling, and I was like, God, like, I really thought I was supposed to do something with my life. Like, I really thought that growing up. And I was like, it doesn't feel like it's coming. And I was like, is this it? I was like, is this extraordinary thing? Because I ain't gonna lie, it's fun, it's exciting, it's illegal. It's, you know, I was very fascinated with like selling, you know, illegal things. I was very fascinated with that. But I was like, is this it, man? You know, at that time I was doing a lot of bad things. I was screwing people over, and had a lot of people that were looking for me, and a lot of people that didn't like me and wanted to hurt me, and I just was this selfish person that just didn't care. And then I encouraged a lot of bad behavior for certain people. And I know I'm not in charge of people, but it's like I influenced certain things that I'm not proud of now. And I hate when I am proud of it. And I'm trying to work on that right now. But I was like, you know, is this it, God? Is this the thing? I always believed I was supposed to do something extraordinary. Is this the thing? I was like, there's got to be more, man. Please, I'm begging you. If there's more, help me. There's got to be something else. You know, fast forward maybe a week or two. Long night. I'm not going to get into the story, but it was a lot of that substance in me, and I was alone in my apartment, and everything stopped working. It was snowing like crazy. Somebody had just slashed my tires in my Mustang, and they did it for the 2nd or 3rd time. I can't remember. Same spot. I kept getting replaced, same spot. So at this time, I was broke, dude. I was using all the flour myself, and I was losing money. I was smoking the other plants, and everything was gone, and I owed somebody money, and I just couldn't come up with it, dude. I just didn't have it. And I was using my PS3 to watch something. I had cable at the time, and then I had discs for the PS3. You don't need internet connection for that. And I swear to God, man, I did all this stuff, a lot of it, and all those things stopped working. All those things stopped working, dude. Couldn't play GTA anymore. Shout out GTA 5. Couldn't play GTA anymore. Couldn't watch the movie anymore. Wouldn't take no discs. Wi-Fi didn't work, bro. Out of nowhere, I was just using them like 20 seconds ago. And so then I had a break, actually. And somebody came to see me. And I was out in the snow, dude, like with a t-shirt on. Just like sitting on the hood of my car. Because I couldn't leave because I had it was snowing, it was cold, man. I couldn't leave, so I just sat on the hood, dude, and just waited for somebody to come, and they were like, "Are you doing this thing again?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then they texted my mother, middle of the night, probably 2 a.m, and they're like, my mom was like, "You need help? You want to come home?" And I was like, "I can't go to Rockford. Can't go home right now." I was worried. I was scared, man. People were mad at me at that time. A lot of people would have loved to mess me up, or at least that's what I thought in my head, I went to, it's called Pine Rest, for anybody in Michigan, you know it. I was a frequent flyer growing up. This is the first time when I was in the adult unit. She brought me to Pine Rest, and spent about a week in there, and I told my mom, like, yeah, I'd love to find a drug program, but like, it's got to be out of Michigan. I got to get out of here. And I was born in Boston, and I always sort of like idolized Boston and saw that as like an inspiring place. I'd visited it a few times, and she said, it's close to Boston. It was like an hour outside Boston. I'm like, hey, good enough. And she's like, it's 15 months though. And I was like, I ain't doing 15 months, but I'll go. This is my ticket, And so January 22nd, my birthday, I got out of the hospital that day, and my dad drove me straight to this place in Manchester, New Hampshire. And that was hard. No contact to like the outside world the first 30 days. And then after 30 days, you can only call direct family, which is good. It's good to disconnect, But it's the hardest 15 months of my life. But it saved my life, man, because I was not going down a good path. Wasn't on a good path. I was doing bad things, man, and I was wanting something else. And I think that it reminds me of, there's a lot of power in desperation. When you need something, and when you need something negative, I don't think it works the same. But when you need that thing that whether you're praying, you're just begging for, to the sky, whatever you want to call it, man, there's power in that. I think there's a lot of power in that. You got to really want it. And that's my opinion, Everybody's right. I'm going to write a book one day called Everybody's Right. I'm not saying I'm right, dude. That's just my experience. And man, I had to stay 16 months. It was a 15-month program, but I had to stay 16 months because, I got kicked out of school and then dropped out of school and whatever. I hadn't gone to school since I was probably 16, 17. And, I thought I had it all figured out. But also, hey, F school, bro. I don't think it's for everybody, and I think it was a really bad environment for me. I couldn't do all that stuff there. Couldn't sit still, bro. But anyway, I had to stay an extra month to get my GED, and I swear to God, bro, I guessed on most of it, and I somehow passed. And you had to get your GED to get out. I got out, and I didn't go back to Michigan, man. My parents moved back to Boston, and so I went back to Boston from there, and I didn't go back to Michigan. So that's almost 2 years. It's like a year and a half, and then I never went back. And then I went to visit, and it just didn't feel the same, and it was really hard, and it was uncomfortable, and it was this and that. But I loved seeing my best friend. Shout out Bad Man. He's rocked with me. He was the only friend that like kept up with my parents when I went away, because I couldn't talk to him. You weren't allowed to talk to friends. So for a year and a half, I really didn't talk to him. Only maybe through like, I'd sneak a couple texts. My mom would come for visits, and I'd sneak some texts to him or whatever with her phone. He told me about, some hard things that were going on while I was in there that broke my heart. But I had to sit with them things, and it made me strong, I think. Also hurt a lot, but it made me strong, because you had to deal with it. But and pray about it, man. I'm trying to let those things go. I held a lot of grudges for a while. I don't want to hold grudges anymore because they hurt me. That's it, right? Yeah, man, that's kind of like my story. Visited a few times, but then I kind of put it to rest. Like, this isn't home for me anymore. I don't have family there. I just have, some buddies, but me and Brad, dude, me and Bad Man, we play Xbox together like almost every day, bro. We text every day. He called and texted my parents, went to church with my parents, did all these things, man, to keep up with me, in support of me. When we got out, he was all aboard, dude. I was like, hey, I'm not doing like crazy drugs no more, da-da-da-da. And like, he was down for that too. Like, he was like, yeah, hell yeah. And to this day, fast forward, dude, it's funny, not to put his business out there, but we both needed medication, like SSRIs at the same age, around 23, when we started having some issues, because we did everything together. We did every bad thing and every good thing together. And our brains are like interlinked in a lot of ways, but I appreciate him so much. But yeah, man, so I never really, I've kind of tried to put Michigan in the past. It means a lot to me. It's where I was raised. I had a lot of, obviously, amazing years as a kid, but there's a lot of darkness there for me, and a lot of hard times, and a lot of bad choices, a lot of bad juju. And I'm still finding peace with that, man. I mean, that leads up to, I went 3 years sober, and from everything. No more cigarettes, no more alcohol, no more, drugs. And then I had this like mental breakdown, dude. I just broke. Like, I felt crazy, dude. I was about to move to New York City, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, man. I was like skating a lot, but like, I'm not good enough to be a pro or get paid for it. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I was getting involved in some ministry stuff, but I was like, I don't know, I kind of want to do something else. And dude, I like started feeling like I was losing my mind, bro. I felt extremely just like dissociated and panic attacks, and it happened one specific day. Everything changed that day. And we were downtown Boston, me and my mom, and I was drinking a coffee, and then something snapped, dude, and I just felt like very different. But I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I still felt like I was supposed to move to New York. So I moved to New York City alone and scared, bro. I moved to New York, I was scared out of my mind, dude. Thought I was losing it. And tried some medication. That made me feel so bad. I was like, I can't do it. Stopped. Started drinking there. And there's a lot in between those years to now. But I finally hit a point. It's my first, I would say my first adult breakdown recently, where I needed to be back in a hospital, a psychiatric one, again for the first time since I was 19. And it's so funny because it's exactly this month. It's a 10-year reunion for that time. And so maybe that's why I didn't even plan on sharing any of this today. I'm gonna do a cigarette review, but this just came out, man. I didn't even want to make this video, but I'm glad I did, because I don't get to share that with a lot of people in detail. And if it should be anywhere, it should be here, because I like to joke. I like to, and I'm also a tobacco lover. I do appreciate tobacco a lot, and it's helped me stay sober and grounded through really hard times in my life, especially even growing up. But really right now it's like I need to go back to that because I need to stay sober. And I don't like how the vapes, for me it's like, again, like how some people can hit it a few times, put it away, and then go to sleep. Man, it's like a baby bottle to me, bro. What? Like I sip it on, sipping it all day long. I go through one of those, like, what is it, 30,000 puffs? Yeah, right, bro. It's gone in 2 days for me. And that's not good, bro. First thing I do when I wake up, sometimes in the middle of the night, and the last thing I do before I go to sleep, it's not good, man. Too indulgent for me. It like makes you a tweaker. Sorry. But yeah, man, that's 10-year anniversary, bro. I had to go back twice. I'll make maybe a separate video just on that, because that was traumatic, and I was drinking and I was putting myself in harm's way. And everybody, I think some people were like, hey, what are you doing, bro? And like, I didn't know why I was doing these things. And I got manic, and I was falling apart. I was drinking like a fifth a night, or like 2 bottles of wine a night. And then, the whole moderation of like, oh, I'd never drink in the morning, that went out the window. Oh, I don't drink and drive, that went out the window. So I can't, man. And I was trying to end my life, man. I was really close. All sorts of things to just put myself in that place of danger, because I didn't want to do it myself, but I wanted somebody to do it, I won't get into detail about that, but it was really bad, and I'm so thankful I got help, and I got put on, the right meds, and hope they're the right meds. Jeez, man. Talked about that last night. I'm like, dude, side effects are hard. The first month of like a med that's more long-term, hard, man. So hard. All right, thanks for listening, and I'm probably gonna do the cigarette review now.